Junior here for the Dale Junior Download. It's Tuesday. We've got our Dirty Air show. And this is the Ask Junior portion brought to you by Xfinity. I want to let you know TJ's not here today, and Jordan Bianchi filled in and did a great job talking about Darlington and all kinds of things going on in the sport. We talked about the number 8 trademark, Legacy Motor Club, and Rick Ware battling over a charter. And Denny's calling in today on this show as well. We'll have Dirty Mo Doe also later in the show. And Jordan gave me some picks for this weekend to talk about on Dirty Mo Doe. So excited to share those. So tune in. We'll have the show out later today. Thanks for being here right now. Want to make sure that you all know about Xfinity Mobile. And customers there now get exclusive access to Wi-Fi speeds of up to 1 gig in millions of locations nationwide. And with its coverage, it'll always come through for you in a clutch. Take NASCAR everywhere you want to go. With Xfinity Mobile, they're a proud premier partner of NASCAR and absolutely essential to being able to do what we do these days with our smartphones and our iPads and everything else everywhere we go. Trying to get that information that we need, especially when sports are involved, being able to stream and watch live sports. You got to have good service and fast speeds, and Xfinity Mobile carries all that stuff for you. So let's get right to the questions. I'm excited about this. Andrew, what you got?
Yes, YouTube chat's popping off already.
All right.
Dean is commenting from Canada, so that's the furthest away.
Wonder if he's east or west.
Yeah, well, Dean.
I've been to Vancouver and Ontario. I've never been to where's the racetrack up there?
Montreal.
Never been there. I'm hoping we get to go to Montreal, and I hope that's a race that I get to broadcast. Could it be my first trip? So pretty cool.
I've never been.
Yeah,
but it sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, good folks up there.
Absolutely. This first question coming from Twitter. Tyler is asking, what was the favorite generation car that you got to drive?
Oh, I mean, I would say
tomorrow, right? Probably.
I would say, I mean, that car from 2004, that was my best year, I think, in terms of how the car felt, drove. I just liked that car. It had a lot of downforce, a lot of grip, but it was all in the body, and we had the bodies twisted up in a certain way that in traffic it was still relatively decent. And so, you kind of, if you needed a little bit of downforce on the front, all you had to kind of do was get the headlight out. You could still kind of be directly behind a guy, but just kind of show the left front fender or the right front fender and get some turn. And so that was a great race car, a lot of fun, good looking. So probably my favorite. I have always wondered what it was like. I watched these old races, especially let's just pick 1979, for example, 79 or 80. And I've got a car right here from 1979, 1980 that Dad raced, and I am so tempted to get this car outfitted and take it somewhere where I could go 150 to 160 miles an hour and see how that felt. Now, would it feel exactly like what Dad was driving? Maybe not, but it could. I just would love to know what trying to drive one of them big boats around Michigan felt like, right? Or Bristol even. And were they comfortable? Were they hard to drive? Were they, what was that feeling like from those cars in the 70s? Any year in the 70s, I would love to have driven something like that in competition.
What's the hesitation? Is it like
the fact that you could crash it?
Crash it, right?
In my mind,
right.
I mean, I don't know what you would. If I took this car, if I've got the engine, and the engine's over in another room at Junior Motorsports here, and if I got the drivetrain in it and got it running and actually had it out driving around, and then took it to Barrett Jackson, I don't know what it'd sell for, but I'd say it'd get near $1 million mark.
Yeah.
That
Dad's type of car?
That's the car that he crossed the finish line with at Ontario and won his championship in 1980. David Pearson won in the car at Darlington. Dad won in it at Atlanta in 1980. Pearson drove it in 79 when Dad had his collarbones broke. And so it's got some really, really cool history. They only had probably 4 or 5 cars back then, and this one ran most of the Michigans, Charlottes, Atlantas, the big tracks. And so pretty cool race car with some real known history, and I think its value is tough to predict. So I don't think I'd take it out on the track and run it hard. I rebuilt that Nova, right, and we put it on social media how we took it out and drove it around Charlotte.
Right. Yeah.
And I was nervous about that. I mean, it's not. I just watched this car get fixed and rebuilt over the course of a year, right? And then you got to jump in it and go out and drive it around Charlotte, which I wanted to do, but it's like, how fast do you go, right? If you bust your ass, man, you're going to be sad.
They do that before the Indy 500.
Yeah.
They bring out all the old cars and have all the legends, and I just can't imagine the pressure there must be to
and
drive
that old stuff's problematic.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't back when it raced, there was a team of 6 guys or so that made sure every nut and bolt was perfect.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's like there's a little bit of attention to detail, but it's nothing like when it competed, right? So you can't go out there and confidently mash the gas going, hey, is the right rear shock going to fly off? I don't know.
Right, and they haven't run in a while.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. I'm seeing a lot of Gen 4s are people's favorite in the YouTube chat. So
I'm so damn confused these days. I guess Gen 4 is the 03, 04 car, so yeah.
Yeah, because we're at...
I'm almost... Yeah, I know, right? So
now it's next gen.
Yeah.
So what comes after that?
I think they're just trying to confuse
Gen 8?
us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, how many iPhones are there these
They didn't go Gen 8 or Gen whatever. Next gen.
Right, Gen X.
Now they're
we're driving the Gen Zs.
Now they've lost count.
Yeah.
We got them.
This next question is from All Out NASCAR on Twitter, and they're looking for some advice. So this guy, my hair and beard are starting to gray. Should I dye my hair to stay young, or should I let nature take its course?
I'd let it go, man.
Just let it run.
Do you have your hair? I'm assuming you have let's just assume this person has a reasonably decent hairline.
Sure.
I would be happy about that and just let the rest go. I've got buddies that aren't as fortunate, and some of them, I've had a few friends where they get to that point in their life where they're like, yep, just going to have to shave it all off at this point. And then they go from what little hair they had to totally bald, and that's the rest of they're getting really no choice in this matter, right? So to have some hair, I feel lucky. I'm not going to color it and be vain is that the right word? Be vain about it. Yeah,
I don't know. Sure. Yeah.
So
Dalton's nodding his head.
Carly Simon, you're so vain. Yep.
Yeah.
You don't know. You're too young.
I know.
That's the problem.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
you got to listen to that song, man. Apparently, she wrote this song, "You're So Vain," about who's the guy that played Dick Tracy? What was his name? Somebody in this chat will know. He was an actor. But anyways, somebody in this chat will know. Keep your eye on that. But she wrote a song about this dude, and it slaps. I mean, she goes after him. But we're getting off on a tangent.
Warren Beatty?
Yeah, Beatty. So... yeah, she wrote a song about him and them dating, and boy, she didn't have a good experience apparently. But anyways, I would just my hair's getting real gray and my beard's gray, and I don't care. I kind of like it because when I shave my beard off, it's like I get younger.
Yeah.
Right. So you can throw that curveball when you let it gray out.
Yeah, just shave your beard altogether.
Let it gray out. Then all of a sudden show up one day, clean shaven, people go, hey, whoa.
You did that like...
You're looking real good today.
You did that like a year ago, and it threw me off.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is
this
guy?
You're coloring your beard. Let me tell you this, too, man. If you're coloring your hair, it's usually noticeable.
Right. So it's like you got to... If you color it, you got to catch it at like the first side of gray.
If it's noticeable, are you really doing yourself any favors? Or are you just walking around with paint in your hair, right? And people are going to be like, yeah, it's not his real hair color. Like, if you're not fooling everybody, what's the point?
That's true. Whatever makes you feel yourself, I guess. This next question is coming from Nancy, and they were listening to the Casey Mears episode, which was awesome. If you have not listened to that, go check it out from last week. And they said, you said there are races that you're proud of that nobody remembers that you didn't win, but were like big moments to you. So like, do you have any examples of that? I know you talked about the 3rd place finish at Sonoma being a big deal on Bless Your Heart, but like, what are some of the runs that meant a lot to you that maybe don't get as much appreciation or credit?
Well, the Martinsville race we've talked about a terrible amount of times here, so people are going to recognize that race right away where the cars tore all to hell. But I mean, shoot, man, I don't know. I think most of the time when you come close, you're disappointed. But there's only like one or two where you're like, we got lucky today, or I mean, most of the time I felt like late race yellows screwed me over. Never do I remember a late yellow, and I'm sure if we've got some really diehard fans in the chat, they might remember some races where a late yellow helped us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would like to remember those races because I don't. But, usually the late yellows came out, and I'd be like kicking the floorboard. So pissed off about it. If you're sitting there running, I was always thinking about it like this: 500-mile race, you really literally are busting your ass to try to work hard every corner for 500 miles. And then caution comes out, you're sitting there in 4th place, 5th place, and you're like, well, shit, I had a 4th or a 5th in my hand, and now I don't know what I'm going to get. And if I get a 10th or an 8th out of this shit because this late restart, I'm going to be pissed. And I hated that feeling. So now other guys might look at it like, hell yeah, running 4th, 5th, late yellow, chance to get 3rd, chance to get 2nd. But that's not how my brain worked.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong, probably I would say I always thought the wrong way. But some guys will be like, like a Ross Chastain will be like, hell yeah, here's my chance, woo. And I wish I had that trait, but I don't know. I don't know. We ran 2nd or 3rd at Michigan in a rain-shortened race. I think Carl Edwards runs 2nd and Casey Kane won. And it was in that beige number 8 Ralph Earnhardt throwback.
Yeah.
I was happy about that. I think that car was it was fast enough to see what that, the car was fast enough to like, hey, been interesting to see that race play out. But Michigan had kind of been a tough track for me off and on. And so to come out of there with a good run, I don't know why that one kind of sticks in my gut, but I was kind of like, hey, man, I wonder what would happen if we'd have let the race play out, but it was awesome to walk out of there with a good result driving that paint scheme, that car, because it was a cool-looking car.
Yeah. We got time for one more question because Denny Hamlin will be calling in here shortly.
Yeah.
But this one's from Kevin. What's the next concert you have tickets for, if you know?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Weren't you just you posted on Twitter that you were hanging out with, was it Red Clay Strays over the past week?
No.
No?
No.
Who you got GoPro with? Band.
Anberlin.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. How was that?
Well, so the Danger Summer is a band that I'm a big fan of and got to become friends with those guys, and they are touring with Anberlin, and I like Anberlin songs too. There's some great songs from like 07, 08, 09 that I listen to from them, but so they're touring around. They're kind of finishing up right now down in Florida, but they were coming through Charlotte, went to GoPro on their off day, and
Hell of an off day.
AJ Perdomo and the guys from Danger Summer like, hey, man, we're going to meet you at GoPro. Come out. I was like, all right, I get done with everything I'm supposed to. I'll see you out there. So I go over there. I didn't call or anything, but I go over there. Apparently, AJ and the guys were too hungover to get out of bed that day. They ran a little hard the night before, but the rest of the group was there. Anberlin and the rest of the tour was there. And so I got to meet them, and we took a picture and sent it to AJ and those guys, voicing our displeasure about them not showing up. And but it was cool. I don't know when I'm going to go to a concert. It's always kind of like last minute. We saw the Red Clay Strays in Charleston, and man, it was awesome. If you hadn't seen them out, I'd go see them. I'd like to see Stephen Wilson Jr.
Oh, I'm seeing him in July.
I know.
I'm pumped.
Got a buddy of mine supposed to see him soon, and it's like a 700-800 person venue.
Oh, and that's where you want to see him too. The small freaking rooms.
So the funny thing about Stephen Wilson Jr., man, is I started listening to him because Tim Duggar sent me his song 1994.
Yes. Year to Be Young.
Probably 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He sent me this song. I'm like, yeah, awesome song. I listen to it a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't listen to anything else. And I checked out the record, and I didn't really vibe with anything right away. But now I'm listening to all of the record. Like, he's got so many songs on that record that are really good.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because, I don't know, I love music, so I do this all the time. But I have some friends, right, in several bands, and they'll send me their songs or this demo or this album they're working on, and I'll be like, I don't know. But give me a year, right, and I'm in love with the whole thing, right?
Right, yeah.
Sometimes you hear a song, and immediately, the moment you hear it, you're like, I love that. Give me all that all day. I want to listen to this over and over, right? You love the song, right? And you'll play the shit out of it. And then you'll hear other stuff from bands you like, and maybe right away you don't love it. And it takes several listens to sort of like for it to click in your head. I've always kind of thought that was an interesting phenomenon, but that's kind of the way it was with Stephen Wilson Jr. Yeah. So his stuff's so good.
Oh man, I had the same exact discovery as you. I'm like, I listened to a song, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's okay. Then you really dive into it, and like, he's a freaking genius.
He's good.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good place to end Ash Jr. Today, and thanks to our friends at Xfinity.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This was a little bit of a quick one, but Denny is getting ready to call in, so we won't want to keep him waiting. Thank you, Xfinity Mobile customers. You get access to the most powerful Wi-Fi network on the go with speeds up to a gig. NASCAR fans, this means faster downloads for turn-by-turn action, smooth live streaming with fewer pit stops, and a strong connection from the parking lot to the grandstands. For more laps and less lag, stay connected with Xfinity Mobile. Thanks for tuning in. Check the show out later. And tomorrow we got Kyle Larson, and he's going to be a lot of fun to talk to. So we're going to talk to him about his double. So check that out tomorrow, but we'll see you. Thank you.